everyone. This is Henny Espinosa with Just Wish Foundation. Today we are joined by Caroline Ta, owner of the Maryland-based Sweets by Caroline LLC. She will tell us about her journey as a baker and as an entrepreneur and why it's so important for her to give back to the community despite her busy schedule. So thanks for joining us on Just Wish Foundation, Caroline.
Hi, thank you so much. So nice to see you, honey. Thank you for this opportunity, and
Of
I'm
course, of
really excited.
course, of course. So, Caroline, tell us a little bit about your background in baking. How did you get into it?
Yeah, so I've always been baking with my mom ever since I was a little girl. My first memory was like us in the kitchen, like making cake out of like the box mix. And she told me to hold these eggs, and I was so scared to drop them. So I was like holding them super tightly. And then I cracked them all and they shattered all over me. And it was just like one of those memories, like core memories that I had with my mom growing up. So ever since then, I've always just been baking as a hobby.
Mhm.
And it wasn't until I was my first year of college that I went in as an accounting and finance major, and it just wasn't my passion. I just
Mm.
couldn't see myself doing it. So I just turned to baking as like an outlet to relieve stress. And from there on, I just kind of kept baking and competed in a few pitch competitions, and that kind of kick-started the business and inspired me to keep going. So that's kind of the origin of how Sweets by Caroline began.
Mm. So, how did you take that? You mentioned that you joined competitions, but how did you
Mhm.
really kind of master that craft, that passion? How did you turn it into something that you'd consider a career now?
Yeah, I mean, for so long, like when I was in high school, I was always baking for fun, like doing the bake sales for like our sports teams and just always being creative in some way. And I found that outlet in baking. And so I just kept doing it in high school. And then I got into college and I realized that I really enjoyed baking. And
Mm.
after I did the first pitch competition, I just did it on a whim for fun,
Yeah.
just for like business experience, just to put myself out there. And I ended up winning, and that kind of just like
Wow.
inspired me and like made me super confident and,
Mhm.
you know, changed my perspective that like I can do this. Like baking isn't just a hobby, I can actually pursue
Mhm.
this. So
Mhm.
after that competition, I transferred to the University of Maryland and I found a bunch of opportunities and resources through their entrepreneurs program. And from there on, I did another competition, met a bunch of entrepreneurs and people that helped me, grow the business. And since graduating, I've been able to do it full time. So it's
Oh,
been
wow.
such a dream and so amazing. Yeah.
Wow. When you decided to really turn it into career,
Hmm.
you mentioned that this was something that you and your mom really shared growing up.
Yeah.
What was her reaction when you told her that, you wanted to be a baker?
Yeah, well, my mom, like my family has always been very supportive. My mom, especially, she's been like my number one supporter, always helping me at the kitchen, like at home, like washing dishes here and there, and like helping me package orders. So she's always been super supportive. Um, of course, both my parents are immigrants here, and they came from Vietnam with like nothing, and of course, they want me to go into accounting or finance,
Mm.
something that has a more stable income out of college. So I feel like a part of them, part of my family, they weren't really as supportive at the beginning
Mhm.
because of what I was doing, because it's just like entrepreneurship is so new to them and it's not something that is a stable income when you first come out of college.
Mhm.
So to them, it was very hard to accept. But after a while of doing it, I feel like they've sort of come around to it and have become more supportive, and they're helping me here and there and have been helping me in different aspects of the business. So
Mhm.
I feel like it took a little bit to come around, but now, it's been awesome.
Great, great. So, tell us a little bit about what kind of discipline is involved when it comes to baking. What kind of qualities should you have to be good at it?
Yeah, I feel like just being creative is such a big part of baking. There's so many different, mediums of baking. Like there's cakes, there's cake decorating, there's, macarons, a bunch of different pastries. I feel like being creative and showing your passion through that medium is really important. I think also kind of like a little bit of science because macarons and cakes, you always have to measure it to be very
Yeah.
specific. Otherwise, it
Yeah.
doesn't come out, quite right. So I think that little bit of science and calculation behind that is very
Yeah.
important. Being consistent and just like practicing all the time. Like if you fail once, like keep trying. When I first started making macarons, I failed so many times. Like
Mm.
I cannot tell you how many times like I went through ingredients, trial and error, like 10, 15 times to even just get the perfect recipe. And even now I'm still practicing every time I'm in the
Mm.
kitchen, like little things. I'm taking notes and making sure that I, keep this certain measurement or something for the next time. So just being consistent in that, always
Yeah.
practicing and being creative. Yeah.
So tell us how you finally decided to start Sweets by Caroline, right? What are your products that you offer, and how are
Mhm.
you able to market it to the community?
Yeah. So right now, when I first started, I specialized in French macarons specifically, and then I started growing into doing cake decorating, wedding cakes. And so right now, the main focus is still French macarons, not just like regular circular macarons, but turning them into shapes and different characters, and then expanding more into Asian flavors. I feel like at the beginning, I was just doing very like neutral flavors like
Mm.
vanilla, chocolate. And then as I started getting comfortable with my business and myself and more confidence, I was like, I want to incorporate flavors that I grew up having,
Uh,
like pandan, like black sesame, lychee, like those type of flavors that you don't see at a normal like bakery. So
mm.
being able to incorporate my Asian flavors and Asian culture background into what I do every day is really important to me.
Mm.
So besides doing the macarons, I take orders online, and then we're a pop-up bakery, so we do
Mm.
pop-ups in DC, Maryland, and Virginia, and usually around like the holidays or the beginning of the season, we usually do pop-ups and pre-orders during the holidays, so people can
Mm.
order and pick up. Yeah.
So, have you encountered like challenges as an entrepreneur, and how are you
Yeah.
able to overcome them?
Yeah, I feel like there are a lot of challenges with being an entrepreneur. It's not like easy going all the time. I think um, feeling lonely in the entrepreneur field, feeling like you don't have anyone else to lean on, or kind of like that imposter syndrome, not
Mm.
feeling, self doubt, a little bit of like not sure if you can actually do this. But I think over time, as you continue to do it and see the people that show up at your pop ups or people that continuously come back to order, and like your family and friends, and the baking community that I've found,
Mm.
seeing their support and their encouragement has really been encouraging and inspiring me to keep going, and to hopefully inspire other people to not give up and to keep pursuing
Yeah.
my dreams. Yeah.
Yeah. So what has been, besides seeing that and being part of that community, what has been
Mhm.
kind of the most fulfilling part of taking this risk of being an entrepreneur?
Yeah, I think the most fulfilling part is s- like seeing people come up to these events that I'm at, people that I've, connected with online, and actually seeing them come up to my pop-up events, whether they're traveling far to come see me, or if they're standing in line, or just coming up to say hi or supporting me. I think seeing them in person really means a lot to me, and
Mm.
as well as like um, that people trust me and
Yeah.
my creativity, my baking, to be part of their special day, like their kids' birthdays or
Yeah.
their weddings. Like I find that so encouraging and really
Mm.
heart-filled, and it encourages me to keep going. Yeah.
Yeah. So, what's great, Caroline, is that, despite your busy schedule, you're taking time to give back to the community. You're taking part in
Yeah.
these events that raise money, or that support, certain nonprofit organizations. Let's talk
Mhm.
about the two that you've supported, which is what Asian American Lead, and the other one is Very Asian Foundation, right? So
Yeah.
tell us about these organizations and why you decided to support them.
Yeah, so during the peak of the pandemic, a bunch of bakers in the DC, Maryland, and Virginia area, we all collectively baked a bunch of items and curated this baker's box. And a portion of those proceeds were donated to the Asian American Lead Foundation, which is an organization that supports um, underserved, low income Asian American Pacific Islander youth. And
Mm.
it's just kind of a program that empowers them, provides resources for them, and kind of uplifts them in the community. So that was really important to me to be a part of, not just like being able to spread, joy through the baked goods and the curated box
Mm.
that we have, but also being able to support other people in different avenues. And same with the Very Asian Foundation. It was also a similar cookie box type of thing. A bunch of bakers also did the same thing where they curated a bunch, cookies, macarons, and things like that to make a box and donate the proceeds to the Very Asian Foundation. So it's a collective amount of all of these bakers coming together. So I love the baking community. Everyone always comes together, and just being able to support my community in Maryland,
Mm.
giving back to the teachers. I feel like that's so important. I feel like they're, you know, undervalued. Not, I feel like we need to give back to our teachers because
Mm.
they're, teaching and educating our
Yeah.
next generation. So whether that's giving them cake or macarons to get them through the day, I feel like it's really important to also support them.
Yeah.
So I love being able to give back in that avenue too. Yeah.
So as a last question, Caroline, so what would
Yeah.
your message be, young girls who, really want to go into this, and want to pursue this in life?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I would say just go for it. Like, just start baking, posting it on Instagram, just, sharing it with your friends and family because you never know what can come from it. Take any type of opportunity that you see. When I was in college, I just did that competition on a whim just for fun, and so much came out of it. So I would say just start. If you want to start learning how to bake, maybe look into a baking class or something to really spark more inspiration. So just go for it. Take a chance on yourself and just go for it. Yeah.
Great, great. Caroline, thanks so much
Of
for
course.
sharing
Thank
with us
you.
your story. You're such an inspiration. And,
Thank you.
what's inspiring about you is that, despite all of, your schedule being filled with your responsibilities, with your pop-up events and with your business, what's inspiring is that you give back and you do inspire other young
Thank
people
you.
that also want to have a career with something that they're passionate about. I think
Yeah.
that's what makes it special because if you're passionate about something, then it
Right.
shows in the work that you do. It shows in the products that you offer. So we at Just Wish Foundation, we want to support you, as a young entrepreneur, and of course, as you continue to also make a difference in the community. And we want to support you with a monetary donation. And we just wish you well
Yeah.
and more
Thank
power,
you.
as you, give more joy to people,
Yeah. Thank
through
you.
your products and your baked goods. And we just applaud you for
Thank
doing
you.
what you can for the community as well. So thanks, Caroline. We appreciate you.
Thank you. I appreciate it so much. I'm really appreciative of it. Thank you.
All right. Thanks. We'll talk soon.
Bye.
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 And if you find yourself